Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the Horus heresy. We are your hosts.
Yes.
I'm David Brains.
I'm James Norman.
Really great to be here. Now, this is what I hope will be the future of the channel. The channel is producing 5 games a month at the moment. You've got to challenge the channel. You've got 3 Age of Darkness, 6x4s. And you've got I forgot what the last one is.
Adeptus Titanicus.
Adeptus Titanicus. Jeez, how can I forget? So you're getting 5 games a month. Now, James and I have partnered up, and it is our plan to bring you a game a week, I guess.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
An extra game a week. So we're looking at maybe 9 games a month. That's our plan for May, starting in May next month. So that's our plan. So let's talk to James a little bit more. James, some people might say, I know his face.
Yes.
Where do we know you from?
You might remember the Legion Wargaming channel, which was a channel that covered both Heresy and 40k.
Yeah.
Sadly, due to work commitments, I had to stop doing it, which was a shame because it was quite popular, and I've missed it ever since. I've had to stop doing it. So yeah, I'm raring to go to get into some Heresy.
Absolutely. And we're in a really unique position because the channel has moved locations, moved from Peterborough to outside St Neots, to where the Legion Wargame was based with James. And James has got quite an extensive collection of stuff.
Yeah, it's been something of an obsession, the Heresy, for me over the past few years. So yeah, I have amassed more than I thought.
Yeah.
So
the games that James and I are going to bring you are all models from James's collection. So there's quite a variation of models here. But this is just a showcase, really, of what we've got.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to bring that extra content for you and give you and deliver value for money, you know. And we want to be jointly the 30k channel that produces the most and the best 30k games in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's a world-reaching thing, you know. You get people all over the world watch the channel, which is amazing. So thank you so much for your support. But yeah, so James has got a lot of stuff. He's massive into Heresy. We're going to talk to James a lot more in a couple of features we've got coming up soon, where we're going to do like an army showcase, and we'll get James and we'll get you to get a list together.
Yep.
And we're going to talk all about it, and that'll be another feature going forwards where we'll invite people to come on the channel, be here for half a day, and discuss in detail their army and bits and bobs. So we're going to learn a lot more about James going forward. But James, tell us what we've got going on today.
We have got a 3,750 point game, so a nice big one.
Huge.
Substantial, yeah, plenty of units on the table. We've got the Sons of Horus, and they are intent on taking over a planet that's currently garrisoned by the Imperial Fists and the planetary solar auxilia as well. Very much looking forward to seeing the solars on the channel.
Yeah, there's a couple of channel firsts here. First of all, as you mentioned, the solar auxilia. I love solar auxilia myself. I do have an army in a box somewhere, which I will be painting hopefully this year. So solar is the first time we've had them on the channel, so fantastic to have those. But also, you know, it's a much larger point game than we'd normally play as well.
It is, yeah. Just a chance to really bring out a lot of varied units, plenty of troops and tanks on the table. It's the sort of game I really like, to be honest. So, thanks for letting us have it, mate.
Well, James and I always have a bit of discussion because I like smaller, more manageable, controllable games, but James loves the real big fest type games.
Unwieldy behemoths, that's the way to go. Yeah.
But the beauty of this partnership between James and I is that because we can film during the week, because we've kind of around our work commitments, we've kind of engineered it so we've got a couple of days together during the week, we can do these much larger, bigger games. So, you know, I think we started at 8 o'clock this morning. It's already 12. We've had to build the board. We've done all the bits and bobs. So if this runs over into 2 days, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's perfect.
And then we're still going to do the guys from the community on the weekend. So it will just allow James and I to give you those bigger games because we know Heresy players love big games.
Yeah, definitely. It's Heresy is all about the epic feel for me personally, and I think for a lot of other Heresy fans as well. So
absolutely, and it's allowed us to put a lot more time into the board this morning. It's been about 2 hours building the board, and we discussed quite a lot about what we want, where, and what we want to do. So It just allows us to get a bit more time, because on the day, if you've not filmed a game on the channel before, the day can be quite long and there's a lot to do. So it just allows James and I to do these really unique and different missions and armies and matchups, which is what we've done today. So let's talk. There's a couple of things to talk about. James, you've included a warmonger in the Sons of Horus.
I have, yeah. For the first time out of Book 8, Malevolence, he's one of the new consuls. I thought he fitted in perfectly with the character of the Sons of Horus, particularly the Justirin. So, yeah, he's a new consul. He comes with digital lasers and an iron halo.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a mini Praetor, I suppose, but he still has the stats of a Centurion. But crucially, he gives himself and a unit he joins Deep Strike.
Yeah.
So it opens up a whole load of tactical options. So, yeah, expecting to see a fair few warmongers on the table going forwards. But it's the first time I've used one, so...
There's a lot of talk on the internet at the moment where Iron Warriors players are trying to Deep Strike 5 Iron Circle with a warmonger.
Right, I see. Yeah, okay.
I would love to see that. I'm not going to lie.
No, yeah, that would be... well, have some impact when they landed.
Holy hell. That would be pretty spectacular. That's what they call the distraction card effects, I think.
Yeah.
To quote Dan Porter, I think that's a Dan Porter saying. But yeah, so we're looking forward to see how the warmonger comes in.
Yep.
He's models as a Justirin Terminator, and he will be joining a 6-man Justirin squad.
Yeah, that's right, and he will confer Deep Strike on them, so hopefully they'll be teleporting in and, yeah, getting right in the face of the fists.
They're going to be quite bothersome to get rid of, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I've got 2 squads of Justirin in this army, so I don't use them that often. I'm really looking forward to it, and, yeah, they are quite nasty when they get going.
They are one of the best looking Terminators. I still think the Death Guard have got the best looking Terminators, and the Grave Wardens and the Death Shroud, but next to them is Justirin. I think they are absolutely spectacular. And now they've got their 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, even better. So really looking forward to seeing those. There's a lot of elites in this unit. You know, you've got lots of Terminators.
Yep.
2 Leviathans.
Yes, yeah. There's really hard hitting, not particularly long range, this Sons of Horus force. They're quite aggressive. That's why I thought the Warmonger fitted in so well with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they won't be hanging back, except we've got a couple of rapier batteries.
Yeah.
But, no, we'll be moving forwards.
Very much an elites list, which we're really looking forward to seeing. And then if you look at the Solar, it's just packed full of infantry. There's a couple of big heavy guns in there. You've got the Demolisher cannons, which are quite frightening. But the way we've built the board, it might mitigate against a lot of deleting units a turn. You know, the Solar have got to work really hard to get the Demolisher cannons in range. But more importantly, we've got a Malcador Infernus.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Well, they have changed the rules recently. In the latest FAQ, it was a super heavy, which made it absolutely devastating. They've tried to rectify that. It's no longer a super heavy, it's just a normal tank now. Which has had a huge impact, actually. That's reduced its power level dramatically, because now you can shake it, you can stun it. Before, you had to kill it or just brace yourself for what it was going to do to you. But now at least you can mitigate it somewhat. I mean, its power level's dropped hugely with no points reduction. So yeah, giving Solar players a lot more to think about, I think.
I think the community is split about the Malcador chassis and how effective it is now. A lot of people will get in the Malcador chassis, firing all of its weapons, moving 12 inches, because the other chassis are fast, aren't they?
Yes, they are, yeah.
This one's not. But they were just running it forward, shooting all the Demolisher and the Battle Cannon and the Las Cannons into the enemy deployment zone. It either made it to the deployment zone, it didn't. And then when it blew up, it did. When it blew up, or if you rolled well on it, it did. So it was a bit of a suicide.
It was, like a kamikaze tank. So which is a shame that it was being used like that, and I'm glad they've stopped that. But yeah, it's you have to think a lot more carefully now about how you play any Malcador, especially the Infernus, because if you don't get to shoot its main gun, it's a real waste. Yeah,
and it's going to come into its play on its own because we've got the City Fight board. You know, ignores cover that flame weapon that comes out the front, so that will help, and that might keep the Sons of Horus at bay, at least on one side of the board, perhaps. But you know, we've got the stalwart of the Imperial Fists. Bolter drill going. You know, we've got a massive breach squad, perfect for holding objectives.
Very good.
Yeah, we've got Dominion in the mission as well. So we've got 5 objectives, I think it is, for Dominion. And then we've got the Vanguard strike deployment. So there's going to be a lot of manoeuvring. And we didn't specifically go for Dawn of War because it's just everything's just rowed up in a long line.
Yeah, I much prefer Vanguard strike. It just looks more thematic, I always think.
A lot more dynamic as well, rather than just the 2 armies facing off on a line, an arbitrary line, I guess. So they've got to work around this city to get the most of it, and we're going to place the objectives very soon. I think it's going to be a really cool game.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Yeah, I think these armies look great on the table together.
They do look fantastic.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to this. Again, just to reinforce, James and I are going to put on these bigger games, these much more, I hate to use the word narrative all the time, but they are sort of telling a story. The Solar and the Imperial Fists are in defense of this city.
Yep.
It's quite abandoned. There's a lot of wreckage, and a lot of the sand has been kind of heaped up against the side of the buildings to give it kind of this empty, desolate kind of feel. But there's going to be a ton of infantry on the board, and lots of death, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, that's what we do it for.
Love it. All right, let's get on with it. Let's work out exactly what are these lists, and we'll see at the beginning of turn 1. 3,750 points of Imperial Fists with Solar Auxiliary allies. The army is led by a Praetor, no right of war. The army's warlord trait is target priority. Leading the Imperial Fists is a Praetor. He's equipped with Artificer Armour, a master-crafted Paragon Blade, Digital Lasers, Combi Plasma, Iron Halo. His warlord trait is target priority. Second HQ is a Chaplain with a Crozius Arcanum, a Plasma Pistol, Artificer Armour and Refractor Field. And finally, the third HQ is a Primus Medicae with Artificer Armour, a Thunder Hammer and a Refractor Field. Elites are 5 Terminators with Combi Bolters and all have Chain Fists. Their dedicated transport is a Land Raider Phobos, and that's equipped with a Dozer Blade and Armoured Ceramite. Elites choice 2 and 3 are 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts. One is armed with 2 close combat weapons with inbuilt Combi Bolters and extra armour, and the second has a Carey's Pattern Assault Cannon, a Chain Fist and also extra armour. First troops choice is a 10-man tactical squad. The sergeant is armed with a Power Fist and Melter Bombs. There's a Nuncio Vox in the squad, and their dedicated transport is a Rhino. Second troop choice is another 10-man tactical squad, exactly armed as the previous squad, except that the sergeant has a Power Sword. Third troops choice rounds off nicely with a 16-man breacher unit. 3 of them have melter guns. There's a Vexilla, a Nuncio Vox, and the sergeant is armed with a Combi Melter and is also equipped with a breaching charge. The entire unit has melter bombs. HQ for the Solar Auxiliary Allied Detachment. The army is led by a Strategos, which is included in the tactical command section. He's equipped with Void Armour, Close Combat Weapon, Las Pistol, Frag and Crack Grenades. He also has a special rule which is called a Precision Bombardment, which allows him to call down a Strength 9 AP2, Ordnance 1, Barrage, Pinning, Large Blast. He's also equipped with a Cognis Signum. Included in the command section is a Proclamator. He has a Nuncio Vox. Also included in the command section is a Vexiliaris, and he's equipped with a Cohort Vexilla. The last 2 members of the squad are 2 veteran auxiliaries. One is equipped with a grenade launcher with kinetic, tempest and crack grenades, and the final auxiliary is equipped with a melter gun. Elites is an Engine Seer auxiliary unit. There are 2 Engine Seer Adepts and 8 Servo Automata. The Servo Automata are equipped with grenade launchers, which have the kinetic, tempest and crack grenade launchers. The Adepts are equipped with Power Armor, Las Pistol, Power Axe and Servo Arm. One has a Nuncio Vox and one has an Augury Scanner. The first unit of the Solar Auxiliary Tercio is a 10-man Velataris Storm Section. All are armed with Volkite Chargers. The Prime is equipped with a Power Fist and Melter Bombs. Their dedicated transport is a Dracosan armoured transport equipped with Flare Shield and Demolish Cannon. The third unit in the Tercio is a 10-man Velatari Storm Section, armed exactly the same as the first. The second troop's choice of the Tercio again is another Velatari Storm Section. This time they're all equipped with Power Axes. Their dedicated transport is another Dracosan armoured transport with a Flare Shield and a Demolish Cannon. The Prime is equipped with Melter Bombs. Heavy support choice for the Solar Auxiliary is a Malcador Infernus Special Weapons Tank. It's equipped with a Inferno Gun, It's also been upgraded to have 2 las cannon side sponsons and chem munitions. It also has armoured ceramite.
3,750 points of Sons of Horus, led by a herald with the strategic genius warlord trait. The Sons of Horus are using their unique rite of war, the Long March. Leading the Sons of Horus, we have a herald consul. He has the banner of the Eye. He also has a thunderhammer, melter bombs, artificer armor, and a refractor field. The second HQ choice for the Sons of Horus is a Legion Praetor. He's in Cataphracti Terminator armor. He has a Volkite charger, mastercrafted Paragon blade, and digital lasers. And the third HQ choice is the new consul. He is a warmonger. He's a sub-captain of the Justirian. He is wearing his black Cataphracti plate. He has a combi melter and a chain fist. And because he's a warmonger, he also has an iron halo and digital lasers. He also has the deep strike special rule, which he confers upon a unit that he joins. Accompanying the Sons of Horus HQs, we have a squad of Justirian Terminators. They are acting as a command squad. There are 6 of them. They all have power axes, 5 have combi bolters, and 1 has a multi-melter. First elite's choice for the Sons of Horus is another squad of Justirian Terminators. There are 5 of them. 1 has a combi plasma and a lightning claw. The other 4 have power axes, and 1 also has a multi-melter. Their dedicated transport is an Anvilus pattern Dreadclaw drop pod. Second elite's choice for the Sons of Horus is a Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with twin Kerry's assault cannons. Third and fourth elite choices for the Sons of Horus are 2 Rapier support weapons batteries. Both are 2 guns, each with 2 crew, and 1 has Rapier laser destroyers, the other has quad launchers with frag and shatter shells. First troops choice for the Sons of Horus is a Legion tactical squad, 10 strong. Their sergeant has a combi plasma and melter bombs, and they have a Rhino as their dedicated transport. It has a dozer blade. The second troops choice for the Sons of Horus is another Legion tactical squad identical to the first. The Sons of Horus' third and final troops choice, thanks to their rite of war, which is the Long March, is a squad of 10 Cataphracti Terminators. 4 of the Cataphracti have power fists, 1 has a chain fist. The remaining Terminators all have power axes, and they have as their dedicated transport a Spartan assault tank with a flare shield, a dozer blade, and armoured ceramite. The Sons of Horus' only fast attack choice is a squad of 13 Catalan Reavers. 5 of them have power fists, 7 of them have chain axes, 1 has a plasma pistol, and their chieftain also has a plasma pistol and a power fist. The Sons of Horus' only 2 heavy support choices are both Leviathan pattern siege dreadnoughts. They both have Leviathan storm cannons, Leviathan siege claws, and twin-linked Volkite calivers.
James, that's it. We're deployed.
Yep.
Ready to go. There is a lot of models on that table.
Yes. Yeah, it looks epic.
I think at the moment, because a lot of the troops are in their transport, there's quite a bit of room there for the time being. But when those troops start to get out to claim those objectives,
yeah, when the deep strikers and outflankers start arriving,
there is going to be a ton of stuff on that board. So, large point game. Not on a 8x6, on a 6x4. So looking forward to this. The terrain is super dense.
Yeah, a lot of block lines of fire. It's quite tricky to place long range units. So.
Yeah, we've got to do a lot of hard work, I think, to get the weapons off at each other. Now, I won the roll off to see who deploy first, go first. I elected James to go and his Sons of Horus purely because I want to know where the deep strikers are going to come in.
Yeah.
They're not that effective that first turn, and if I can then move to mitigate some of the early threats, I think that will really help the army. And then it's just have to claim the objectives after that. I am a bit worried about the Justirian, and I'm really worried about the 10-man Terminator squad in that Spartan.
Yeah, they're quite a scary combat proposition. So hope they do some work.
See how it goes. I've decided not to seize. James is going first. Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
We'll see what happens.
Sons of Horus movement phase turn 1, and the turn opened with the arrival of the first squad of Justyrin in their Anvilus Dreadclaw drop pod. They have crashed down right in front of the Imperial Fist lines near to objective number 1. Meanwhile, the Sons of Horus in this building, they are advancing. The Rhinos rumbled forwards. One tactical squad has got out to claim the objective. Meanwhile, the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought rumbles forward to bring its weapons into range. The Rapiers with the quad launchers have held position, and the Contemptor Mortis in this building next to them tried to move forwards but only managed a 2-inch move through cover, so he is stranded with his Kerry's assault cannons out of range. The Rapier lasers, they have held position as well. They're hoping to get some shots through this dense terrain, but we'll have to see about that. Meanwhile, the Spartan has moved forward a full 12 inches, keen to get its cargo in contact with the enemy. It's supported by the other Leviathan pattern Siege Dreadnought, which has stomped forward 6 inches. But finally, on the right flank, this tactical squad are very disappointed in the skills of their Rhino APC driver. A double 1 has meant that they are immobilised despite their dozer blade. And the tactical marines, they have spilled out. They're going to continue their advance on foot. Sons of Horus shooting phase turn 1, and as the tactical squad who have disembarked from their immobilised Rhino run forward 3 inches, they look behind them and are irritated to see that the driver has managed to repair it almost instantaneously with the roll of a 6. Meanwhile, in front of them, the Leviathan has opened up on the first Imperial Fist Rhino. He can just about see through the ruined buildings. He has managed to inflict a whole point of damage and a shaken result on the Imperial Fist vehicle. The Sons of Horus Spartan, containing the Praetor and the Terminator, has decided to throw caution to the wind. They've moved flat out up this street. There's so many haywire shots that can come in from those servitors accompanied by the tech priests that the Sons of Horus have decided just to close the gap now rather than wait to be forced out of their vehicle a long way away. The Rapier laser destroyers in the street unfortunately find that they cannot see anything at all, which is disappointing, and the Contemptor Mortis is also disappointed. With his run, he has once again failed to exit this building. The Sons of Horus Rapier teams with the quad launchers were very disappointed. They only managed to get 4 hits on the front of the Malcador Infernus with their shatter shells, despite the fact they can reroll 1s for turn 1 because they're using the long march. And furthermore, they only managed a single glancing hit, which was saved by a cover save. They have had no effect, and that could be very bad news for the Sons of Horus in front of the Malcador Infernus. Finally, a good volley of fire comes out of the Sons of Horus lines as the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought manages to take out 4 of the Imperial Fist breachers with his storm cannon and another 1 with his twin-linked Volkite calivers. In the final act of Sons of Horus turn 1, the pilot of the Anvilus Dreadclaw drop pod has seen his brother's fire having very little effect on the Imperial Fist or the Solar Auxilia. He has actually moved flat out. He's moved back to stay out of range of the melter guns in the Imperial Fist breacher squad. And that brings the turn to an end. Quite a disappointment for the Sons of Horus so far. Let's see how the Imperial Fists and Solar Auxilia respond.
Imperial Fists and Solar Auxilia turn 1 movement. I think I was quite lucky to get away with all that firepower from the Sons of Horus, so I'm in a reasonable position. The Imperial Fist Rhino here went 12 inches. I'll plan to flat him out in the next turn as well to get him closer to that objective and at least contest it in the future turns. The Engine Seer squad have moved forward. They've all got haywire attacks. They are going to take that Spartan out. It'll be really good to get rid of the firepower of that Spartan quite early on, and then I've slightly moved the Dracosan behind them just to screen in behind the servitors there. My plan is to fire that demolisher in the ensuing turns, hopefully on the Terminators. The Auxiliary Command section have moved around into the building. The main point here is rather the haywire grenade launchers moved down a level, and hopefully he'll be able to get a side shot on the Spartan, just doubling up there on the firepower just in case. The other Dracosan has moved forward 6 inches and is targeting the infantry on that objective. Don't forget, you score at the beginning of the turn, so we want to try and deny them. The Infernus hasn't moved. Now it can't move 12 inches and fire its weapon. it's quite crucial. But I've left it there as a bit of an insurance policy, depending on where the Terminators come from that Spartan. And then don't forget, we've got some deep striking Terminators coming soon as well. So I've just left him out of the way for the moment. The Phobos here is just repositioned. I've got a line of sight down on the Leviathan or the Ambulance Dreadcore drop pod. The two Contemptors have moved in front. The Breachers, which suffered casualties, have moved forward. And then finally, the Draco-san has moved forward to get a line of sight onto the Sons of Horus in the building. And the Rhino there has moved forward 12 inches. We're going to go for that objective later on in the turn. So lots of movement. We need some good firing. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia turn 1 shooting. I targeted the Demolisher Cannon from this Draco-san into the Sons of Horus in the building over there next to the Leviathan and the Rhino. And I also targeted the Demolisher Cannon from here. Managed to clip the Leviathan twice, but causing no damage. The Invulnerable Save doing an amazing work for the Levy. But fortunately, I killed 4 Sons of Horus, which forced them onto a leadership test. And they failed, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for the Imperial Fist, it was brilliant. And they fled 12 inches off the board, so they have gone. And that objective is safe for a turn. So really great shooting there. That's all I've got over this side of the board. Let's see what we've got next. Next to fire was the Phobos and the 2 twin-link las cannons into the front of the Leviathan. 1 hit, 1 penetrate, but again, the Invulnerable Save held fast, and the Leviathan is unscathed. Both of the Dreadnoughts ran forward 5 inches, just to close the distance to that levy and also the contents of the Ambulance. I think they'll be helpful in the next few turns. The Breacher Squad ran 4 inches. They did get a 5, but -1 because of their breaching shields only rolled, so they only moved 4 inches. And then finally, the Rhino flatted out just 3 or 4 inches just to bring it close to that objective. We will make a pounce for it in the next few turns. The Engine Seer Automata, this was their moment, but they absolutely fluffed it. So we had 8 haywire shots going into the front of that Spartan, only 6 hits. And then we rolled 3 ones, which is absolutely nothing. And then we caused 2 penetrates, which caused a stunned result. And 1 glance. So 3 hull points, and the Spartan is still standing. I mean, that is really, really unfortunate. The grenade launcher with a haywire attack from the HQ squad for the Solar Auxilia also shot into the side of the Spartan, but rolled a 1 and missed. So that was really sad. And then finally, the Rhino here flattened out 6 inches just to bring it closer to that objective. That will just give James some decisions to make about what unit he goes for. He can't go after everything. Also, the Draco-san fired its Demolisher Cannon on the corner of the Land Raider just to take another hull point off it if it could. But that ballistic skill 3 of the Draco-san wasn't very good, and it scattered wide and hit the empty space in between the Spartan and the Rhino. So not very successful at all. The Malkador Infernus opened up with its humongous range. It's 18-inch range, and then the Teardrop Hellstorm template, and it was long enough to reach the 2 quad mortars and the 2 crew members inside the building and absolutely dissolved them, taking that threat off the board, which was great news. The 2 remaining troopers then passed their leadership test, so they are staying where they are.
Sons of Horus movement phase turn 2, and the assault of the Justarin has commenced, with the Justarin from their Anvilus Dreadclaw moving forward, disembarking and getting ready to take on this Imperial Fist Rhino. And this flank is under heavy assault from the Sons of Horus now that the Catalan Reavers have arrived from outflank, along with the Sons of Horus Herald, who is this army's warlord. Fortunately, they have further support. The Warmonger and his Justarin have performed an incredibly courageous deep strike. Fortunately, they managed to roll a hit, and they have arrived now right in the heart of the Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia lines. That's just as well, because there's a lot of nasty Imperial Fist units on this flank, and of course the Malkador. Meanwhile, to the front, the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought is stomping forwards, hoping to support all the rest of the elite squads on this flank. In the centre, the Sons of Horus Rhino has moved up just to contest this middle objective, now that it's lost its tactical squad. And finally, The Contemptor Mortis has stomped out into the street. He's finally got clear of the building as the 2 remaining crew from the quad launchers are moving up in support, readying their bolt pistols. The Rapier laser destroyers have held position. They now have a line of sight through to an Imperial Fist's Rhino past the Sons of Horus Spartan, which has rumbled forwards and disgorged the Praetor and 10 Terminators. I imagine these tech priests are feeling pretty nervous now. Far over on the Sons of Horus flank, the other Leviathan and the other tactical squad are moving forwards, getting ready to take on the Imperial Fists for the objective in the pillbox. Sons of Horus shooting phase turn 2, and the Justarin, who have disembarked from their ambulance, have opened up on the Imperial Fist Rhino. The multi-melter has managed to get a weapon destroyed result, destroying the combi bolter, and the Justarin with the combi plasma managed a penetrating hit as well, and he has managed to immobilise the Imperial Fist vehicle. But disappointing, the Justarin hoped to get at the Imperial Fist inside. They'll have to wait now. The Sons of Horus Leviathan opened up with its storm cannon, and its Volkite calivers managed to take out another 4 Imperial Fists breaches. The newly arrived Catalan Reavers opened fire into the Imperial Fist breaches, managing to take out the Imperial Fist Sergeant with a plasma pistol shot, but all of their bolt pistol fire pattered harmlessly from the artificer armour of the Imperial Fist's Primus Medicae. The Sons of Horus opened fire with their Rapier laser destroyers on the Imperial Fist's Rhino. They only managed 1 hit despite the fact they're twin-linked. It was a pen, but the Imperial Fists made their cover save. Meanwhile, the abysmal shooting for the Sons of Horus continues. The Spartan opened up. 1 quad las cannon, managed to get 2 hits on the Imperial Fist Rhino. Double 1, no result. And the other quad las cannon fired into the building at the Solar Auxilia Tactical Command Section. 2 hits. Double 1, no wounds. This has been another very disappointing shooting phase so far for the Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus Leviathan, Pattern Sea Dreadnought, opened fire on the Rhino with its storm cannon and its Volkite calivers, managing plenty of hits, but the Imperial Fist made some good cover saves, and the Rhino has only lost another hull point and is once again shaken. Over on the right flank, the Sons of Horus Tactical Squad have just run up a couple of inches. They're getting ready to lay down a wall of fire if the Imperial Fist comes spilling out of their Rhino, and the Contemptor Mortis has begun to run down this street, trying to have some sort of effect on this battle. The Sons of Horus shooting phase has ended with yet more disappointment as the newly arrived Warmonger and his Justarin decided they had to deal with the Malcadorian Furnace. The Warmonger managed to hit it with his combi melter but did not penetrate, and the multi-melter carrying Justarin managed to miss. That has been an absolutely dire shooting phase for the Sons of Horus. Sons of Horus assault phase turn 2, and the Justarin over on this flank have successfully made their charge into the Imperial Fist's Rhino. Meanwhile, it looks like it's shortly going to be the end of this battle for the Tech Priest Auxilia and their Servo Automata, as the Sons of Horus Praetor and all of his Terminators have easily made their charge and have taken no damage from the Tech Priest's Overwatch. Sons of Horus assault phase turn 3 continues, and their Terminators and the Praetor waded into the Tech Priest Auxilia, absolutely butchering them, although one of the Tech Priests did manage to fell one of the Sons of Horus Cataphracti with a blow from his power axe. Crucially, the Sons of Horus have only consolidated a single inch, which makes them extremely vulnerable to the devastating blasts possessed by the Solar Auxilia. Meanwhile, right up the other end of the sector, these Justarin have managed to finish off the Imperial Fist's Rhino with multiple blows from their power axes. The Imperial Fists have come spilling out. Turn summary, Sons of Horus turn 2. Quite a disappointing turn for the Sons once again. Their shooting has proved very, very ineffectual due to a lot of poor luck, but at least they've inflicted some damage in the assault phase. They're still not feeling confident about this battle as we go into the Loyalists turn 2.
Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia turn 2 movement. I think this will be the defining moment now for the Loyalists here. Firstly, the Imperial Fist Tactical Squad that got out of the Rhino have manoeuvred into position to take advantage of their bolter drill into the Justarian Terminators. The Draco-san has angled itself slightly to get a Demolisher Cannon onto the Leviathan, and the Velatari have got out and levelled their Volkite charges at the Justarian as well. You know, we're just trying to get as much firepower and as much redundancy into the list as possible. The breaches have moved forward. They're going to shoot and then charge into the Reavers. Maybe got quite a lot of characters in that unit, so hopefully it will finish off that unit there. The Terminators have got out. They will charge the Justarian that have just deep struck in front of them, along with the Contemptor that is going to have a shoot with its Keres and then charge the Justarian. The Land Raider will shoot into the Justarian and then Power Machine Spirit into the Leviathan. And the double close combat Dreadnought has shot forward to try and charge the Leviathan, take care of that. On this flank here, there's been a lot of shuffling with the Draco-San and the Malcador Infernus. But we're going to have a bit of a triple firepower here. We're going to go with the Orbital Bombardment, firstly from the Strategos. Then we're going to demolish a cannon, and then we're going to finish off with the Malcador Infernus onto that Terminator unit. I do not want any one of those standing by the end of the turn. If that fails, then we've got a load of bolter shots into the back of the Terminators. And we've also blocked off this objective from the Leviathan. I've got no doubt that levy is going to come through the building there and smash the Rhino apart. But at least it will help keep those tactical marines safe, and we might score an objective point next turn. Neither of us scored any objectives at the moment, but we are working hard to clear the battlefield off to then take advantage of those points. Imperial Fist and Soul Auxiliary turn to shooting. The Strategos opened up with its precision bombardment, centered it onto the Praetor. James did an amazing job of looking out all of the attacks, and in the end killed 4 of the Cataphracti. That was a really good start to the turn. The Draco-San then fired its Demolisher Cannon, targeting the Cataphracti and the Spartan, managed to kill 1 of the Terminators and put 1 hull point on the Spartan. The Malcador Infernus then opened up onto the Terminators, hitting every single one of them, but causing no wounds. The Tactical Squad and the Rhino opened up with 21 shots, got 19 hits and 9 wounds, and killed 1 Terminator. The Praetor then passed his leadership test. Not a bad round of shooting there from the 4 units. The Velatari member of the command section then fired at the Spartan with his grenade launcher armed with Tempest rounds and managed to take the final hull point off the Spartan. Brilliant news. The 10-man tactical unit of Imperial Fist then shot at the Justarian that came out of the Anvilus in the previous turn. They got 19 hits, 11 wounds, and managed to put down 2 Justarian Terminators, causing 4 wounds. That was brilliant. The Velatari next to the Imperial Fist then shot in with their Volkite chargers. 20 shots, got 10 hits, 5 wounds, and the Justarian made all of their saves. A bit worried about that unit now in the next turn. The Draco-San then opened up with its Demolisher Cannon into the Sons of Horus Leviathan. Got a hit, got a pen, but the Invulnerable save held fast and the Leviathan is unscathed. The Breacher Squad with the Primus Medicae, the Chaplain and the Praetor all opened up into the Reavers in front of them. Only the Plasma Pistol on the Chaplain managed to get through the armour of the Reavers and killed one of them just before they charge. The Land Raider shot one of its last cannons into the Justarian, killing one, which was great. It then shot its other last cannon into the Leviathan, just as an opportunistic shot, but the Leviathan made its invulnerable save, as usual. And then the Terminators in front, using the bolter drill, shot 10 times into the Justarian, got 10 hits, 6 wounds, but James made all of the 2-up armour saves, so good work there. The Contemptor Dreadnought in front of the Justarian opened up with its twin-link bolter in the fist and its Keres pattern assault cannon and managed to kill 1 of the Justarian. It has increased the charge a little bit, but it's certainly stopped the amount of attacks coming back in this charge. The Draco-San shot the Demolisher Cannon into the Sons of Horus Keres Contemptor armed Dreadnought, managed to get 1 hull point and immobilised it, so not a bad round of shooting there. Imperial Fist and Soul Auxiliary turn to assault phase. Charging here, the Breachers and the 3 characters made it in contact with the Reavers, rolling an 8 on their charge. So that was brilliant news. The Contemptor charged the Justarian first, just so the bolters couldn't harm it as they overwatched and went in. I got an 12-inch charge rather, and took a wound on one of the Justarian with Hammer of Wrath. But unfortunately, the Imperial Fist Cataphracti Terminators only rolled a 4. And they needed a 5 to get in combat, so they didn't make the charge, which is a real shame. And then finally, on the end here, The double close combat armed Contemptor made a massive 12-inch charge into the Leviathan. We need to take that model down. He is causing me a lot of pain at the moment. Combat between the Imperial Fist Contemptor and the Sons of Horus Leviathan. What a shame. The Imperial Fist went in with 5 attacks, got 2 hits, and didn't penetrate the Leviathan. The Levy then attacked back with 3 attacks, all hit, 1 glance, 2 pen, and I failed all the Invenerables, destroying the Contemptor. What an absolute shame. Combat between the Warmonger, the Justarian, and the Contemptor Dreadnought. Really interesting combat here. The Dreadnought went in, caused a wound on Hammer Wrath, which was brilliant. Got 4 attacks, all hit, all wounded, but James made some amazing 4 vulnerable saves on the Terminators. The Warmonger is the only one that can attack back. Got 3 attacks, 1 glance, 1 penetrate. The Dreadnought managed to save the penetrate, which was brilliant on its invulnerable save, and 1 glance went through. So that is a drawn combat, and I'm so relieved that it's drawn. I really thought I was going to lose a Contemptor there. That'll save my Malkador for another couple of turns and stop the Sons of Horus moving around in my deployment zone. Combat between the Breachers and the Reavers. The charge was made, which was great. The Praetor then issued a challenge, which the Reaver Sergeant accepted. At Initiative 5, the Praetor went in and got 5 attacks, 4 hits, and then with his Mastercrafted Paragon Blade managed to kill the Reaver Sergeant and 3 other Reavers. That's a good start to the combat. Next to strike at Initiative 5 was the Chaplain. 5 hits, 5 wounds, but the Reavers made all of their saves. The Reavers, armed with chain axes, then struck back at Initiative 4. 9 attacks, 7 hits, and 4 wounds, and the Breachers made all of their 3-up armor save. The Breachers then struck back at Initiative 4. They had 12 attacks, 10 hit, thanks to the Chaplain, and got 5 wounds, and they managed to drag down 2 of the Reavers. The Primus Medicaid then struck in at Initiative 1, 4 attacks, 4 hits, 2 wounds, killed a Reaver with a chain axe, and killed one of the Power Fist armed Reavers, but he will still get to attack. The Reavers then struck back at Initiative 1 with their Power Fists, 10 attacks, 6 hits, 6 wounds, and only 1 Breacher made it save, killing 5 of the Breachers. The Sons of Horus Herald then struck at Initiative 1 with his Thunderhammer, 3 attacks, 2 hits, 1 wound, but the Breacher offered its shield up high and deflected the blow. Combat results for that round of combat there. The Imperial Fist managed to kill 8 of the Reavers, which was great work, for only 5 in return, but both forces have a unit that's fearless in the combat, and the combat will continue. End of turn 2 for the Imperial Fist and the Solar Auxilia. Wow, that was a crazy round of combat. Some very unexpected results there, especially with the Contemptor not doing any damage to the Leviathan. But anyway, we will continue. We've managed to reduce the Sons of Horus down quite dramatically now. That Sons of Horus Reavers unit is so depleted, and the Terminators aren't as much as a threat as I thought they were. So really now I need to start focusing my efforts on some Dreadnoughts, and then I need to score some victory points. I need to get onto those objectives. I think we'll both start making a major play. Don't forget, I've still got a load of Solar Auxilia units in those Dracosans, so they will start to make an appearance very, very soon.
Sons of Horus movement phase turn 3, and the Warmonger and his Justarian remain locked in assault with the Imperial Fist Contemptor, as does the Sons of Horus Warlord, the Herald. He's got a few Reavers still with him, but it's looking grim. On the plus side, the Sons of Horus have scored the first objective victory point of this battle, since these Justarian happen to be within 3 inches of Objective 1, which is good. They are preparing to launch an assault on either the Solar Auxilia Veletaris or the Imperial Fists. We shall see. They have the support of the Leviathan Pattern Siege Dreadnought, which has come stomping up the street, readying its weapons. In the centre, the Sons of Horus Rhino has pulled back to open a line of fire for the immobilised Sons of Horus Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought. He has yet to fire his Kerry's assault cannon, so he's looking forward to that. Meanwhile, the laser batteries, they've held position. One of them has a shot on an Imperial Fist Tactical Marine, but that's about the best they can do at the minute. The other Tactical Squad's Rhino has moved up the street. He is preparing for his tactical squad to come spilling out of this building, hopefully across the street to secure that objective. Meanwhile, over on the far flank, the Leviathan has smashed out of this building, staring down the Imperial Fist's Rhino, and the Praetor and the Sons of Horus, Cataphracti, are preparing to assault the tactical squad. There's going to be quite a battle over this objective. Sons of Horus shooting phase turn 3, and the Leviathan that came striding down this street has caused havoc amongst the Imperial Fists on this flank, gunning down 8 of them from this tactical squad with a volley from its Storm Cannon and its Twin-Link Volkite Calivers. The Justarian, who have scored Objective 1, open fire with their combi bolters, managing to cut down 3 of the Veletaris Storm section. Unfortunately for the Sons of Horus, their multi-melter missed, and the Veletaris have passed their morale check. The Sons of Horus Contemptor Mortis open fire with its Skerries assault cannons. Most of the shots pattered harmlessly from the flare-shielded Dracosan, but one managed to get through, shaking the Solar Auxilia vehicle. That is very important because the Demolisher Cannon now cannot fire next turn, giving the Sons of Horus a slight reprieve. And the Rhino has moved flat out, coming back again to contest the objective. The Sons of Horus Tactical Squad managed a 5-inch run. They have come pouring out of this building, and they are going to try to score this objective multiple times, hopefully from the cover of their Rhino. The Leviathan came stomping through the wall and opened fire with its Storm Cannon, easily taking the Imperial Fist Rhino's last hull point. Meanwhile, the Cataphracti, they've decided not to make their charge any harder, just in case they have not fired their combi bolters. They are preparing to charge. Sons of Horus turn 3 assault phase, and the Praetor and his Cataphracti have made the charge, but the Imperial Fists responded with a wall of bolter fire, cutting down one Terminator and wounding the Praetor as well. That was not expected. Over on the extreme opposite flank, the Justarian began to advance menacingly towards the Veletaris, but the humans unleashed a devastating volley from their Volkite chargers, cutting down the lead Justarian. But there are still 2 remaining, and they have made their charge, readying their power axes. The Sons of Horus Praetor bellowed a challenge, and the Imperial Fist Sergeant stepped forward with his power fist, but the Son of Horus was too fast, cutting him and 2 more Imperial Fists down with sweeps of his Paragon Blade. The Imperial Fist struck back at Initiative 4. They managed to get 5 hits, but no wounds at all on the Sons of Horus Terminators. The remaining 2 Sons of Horus Cataphracti managed to take down another 3 Imperial Fists, and that proved enough. The Imperial Fist nerve broke, and they have fled, leaving the Sons in possession of the objective at last. The Imperial Fist Contemptor struck first in this combat, but he only managed 1 hit and then rolled a 1 to wound. He is really struggling against these Justarian. The Warmonger is now going to attack with his Chain Fist. The Warmonger managed to get 2 more hits with his Chain Fist. Both of them penetrated, and that was enough to spell the end for the Imperial Fist Contemptor. The Imperial Fist Praetor issued a challenge, and this time the Herald really had no choice but to accept. He stepped forward and was cut down with a killing strike by the Imperial Fist Paragon Blade. He also took out another Reaver as well. That is a devastating blow for the Sons of Horus. That's a Warlord kill and another victory point because he was a Herald. The Legion standard has fallen. The Imperial Fist Chaplain, following the example of his Praetor, laid about him with his Crozius. He smashed another 2 Catalan Reavers to pieces. The last Catalan Reaver desperately attempted to take down any Imperial Fist he could with his Power Fist, but he failed, and he was felled by a blow from the Primus Medicai's Thunderhammer. The Imperial Fists have wiped the squad, killed the Warlord, and consolidated 1 inch. The Justarian came lumbering into the assault, but they have been taken by surprise. The Veletaris leapt forward with 12 attacks. They managed plenty of hits and 3 wounds, and 2 ones later, one of the Justarian has been cut down by the Solar Auxilia without even getting to swing his power axe. That is a great result for the Loyalists. Fending off blows from the Veletari Prime's Power Fist, the last Justarian managed to cut down the human with a blow from his power axe, but the Justarian lost the assault. Fortunately, they have managed to hold. Say they, I mean he has managed to hold. These Solars have done an excellent job against the elite of the Sons of Horus. End of Sons of Horus turn 3, and it's been a mixed turn for the Sons. They have managed to establish dominance over this sector of the battlefield. They've got a couple of objectives they're hoping to score, but there could be some nasty firepower being thrown down from the far end of the cityscape that might make that very difficult. Meanwhile, up this end, the Loyalists, they seem to be doing very well indeed. There are not many of the Sons still around. Although the warmonger and his bodyguard are still there, they are surrounded by a lot of dangerous looking loyalist units. This is still anybody's battle.
Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia, turn 3 movement. The 2 Tactical Marines have moved closer to the Sterin. They will charge in this turn to help out the Solar Auxilia there. The Dracosan has got a bead on the Leviathan. The HQs and the Lone Breacher from the Imperial Fist have moved into cover behind the bunker. The Phobos is planning on destroying or one-shotting, hopefully, the Leviathan there. That will save my bacon if that does happen. The Cataphractii Terminators are charging into the Justerin. The Infernus has got a very tricky shot right down the line, using the Torrent to full advantage to target the Rhino and the Tactical Squad to stop them from scoring that victory point at the beginning of the Sons of Horus first turn. The Dracosan that is shaken has just moved out of the way to allow access for the Infernus to get the shot off. The Dracosan here has moved forward slightly, and our plan is to kill the 2 remaining Cataphractii Terminators and the Praetor to deny them that objective there. And finally, in the building, the command section from the Solar Auxilia have moved forward, and their plan is to use the Haywire attack and the Melter to take out that Rhino. It's got 2 hull points left, and don't forget it's a kill point mission as well. So we get points for killing units rather. Let's see what happens. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia, turn 3 shooting. The Praetor, armed with a combi plasma, turned around and shot at the Justerin Terminators. Got 1 hit and rolled a 1 to wound, so that was really unfortunate. The Land Raider Phobos fired 2 of its las cannons into the Leviathan. Got 1 hit, 1 penetrate. James failed the invulnerable save, and I managed to cause a hull point and take off the right hand side Volkite caliber there on the chest mount on the Leviathan. The Cataphractii Terminators opened up onto the Justerin in front of them. 10 shots, 10 hits thanks to bolter drill. There was 8 wounds, but unfortunately they were all saved on the 2-up armour of the Justerin plate. The Dracosan fired its Demolisher cannon onto the 2 Cataphractii Terminators and the Praetor. Got a direct hit with 3 wounds, but James made 3 amazing 4-up invulnerable saves. And that is really unfortunate because at the beginning of the Sons of Horus turn 4, they will score a point for holding that objective at the beginning of their turn. What a shame. The Malcador Infernus opened up onto the tactical squad on the objective using the Torrent Flamer to full effect. Managed to kill 6 Marines in total, which was brilliant work. The Strategos in the Solar Auxilia command unit then passed +1 ballistic skill to the 2 Solar Auxilia Velatari at the front there. Shot in with a melter gun, got a penetrating hit, and then shot in with the Haywire attack grenade launcher onto the Rhino and destroyed it. Fantastic, stripping the last 2 hull points off it. Some great work there. That has stopped the Sons of Horus scoring a point at the beginning of the next turn. So we're really playing to the mission here and really stopping the Sons of Horus scoring those points. Let's move on to the assault phase. Just before we go into the assault phase, the Dracosan opened up with its Demolisher cannon into the Leviathan Dreadnought, but unfortunately the shot scattered 12 inches and ended up in no man's land just between the Rhino and the back of the Leviathan. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia turn 3 assault phase. The 2 Imperial Fist Tactical Marines made it in combat with a Justerin to bolster the Velatari. Hopefully those 2 units can pull down that remaining Justerin. And then on the side of the flank here, the Cataphractii Imperial Fist Terminators have made it into the Justerin. That fight there is going to be absolutely crucial for this side of the battlefield. Combat between the Velatari and the Imperial Fists tactical squad went extremely well. Initiative 4, the Imperial Fist struck with 4 attacks, got 2 hits, 2 wounds, and unfortunately James rolled a double 1 for the Justerin. So brilliant news. Both the units then consolidated 3 inches up to the barrier to shield them from the inevitable incoming fire from that Leviathan Dreadnought. Combat between the Imperial Fist and the Justerin was really interesting. The Imperial Fist went in with 15 attacks, 9 hits, but only caused 6 wounds. But James again made some amazing 4-up invulnerable saves and only lost 1 Justaerin to the 15 attacks coming in from the Power Fists from the Imperial Fist Terminators. But it's all happening in Initiative 1, so the Justaerin that died just off the left there will get to attack. Sad news for the Imperial Fist Terminators. The Justaerin struck back and killed 3 of the Cataphractii equipped Terminators. Then the Warmonger struck in and killed the remaining 2, wiping the squad. Oh, unreal combat. I didn't make a single 4-up Cataphractii save, which was such a shame. And then the Justaerin consolidated an inch towards the Malcador Infernus. I think it's safe to say that that beast is dead in the next turn.
Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 4, and the Sons have managed to score a point thanks to the Cataphractii surviving the Demolisher Cannon shot last turn. They are holding this objective. They're also moving to further secure it and get away from the Dracosan's Demolisher Cannon as the Leviathan Dreadnought comes striding past. Meanwhile, the tactical squad, they're determined to score a point for this objective despite the Malcador, so they have advanced onto it once again, but they cannot score it this turn. The Rapier Laser Destroyers have decided they really have to do something to get into this game, so they have advanced. They're advancing towards the immobilised Contemptor Mortis, which is preparing to open fire on the Dracosan, trying to take cover behind the terrain. Meanwhile, the 2 remaining crew from the quad mortars in this building, they are retreating. They are not going to have much impact on this game with just their bolt pistols. The other Leviathan has spied the rear of a Dracosan that he thinks he can get at, so he has pivoted and advanced, and we have not needed to move the Warmonger or the other Justaerin because they are perfectly placed to finally deal with the Malcador Infernus thanks to their luck against the Cataphractii of the Imperial Fists last turn. Sons of Horus shooting phase, turn 4, and the Leviathan on this flank has run forward another 2 inches, trying to get to grips with the Dracosan. Meanwhile, the tactical squad that advanced on this objective, they open fire with their bolters. They managed to cut down 2 members of the command section, and it's good news for the Sons of Horus as they were the Solar Auxilia that had the special weapons, the melter gun and the grenade launcher. The Sons of Horus Contemptor Mortis open fire on the front of the Dracosan. They can just see, but unfortunately all of its shots pattered harmlessly from the frontal armour of the vehicle. The Sons of Horus Leviathan open fire into the rear armour of the Dracosan, managing to strip off another 3 hull points with its storm cannon, but unfortunately its melter gun and its Volkite caliver did nothing. The Sons of Horus have had an excellent result to finish this phase. The Justaerin with the multi-melter bored a hole straight through the side of the Malcador Infernus. 6 to hit, 6 to pen, 6 on the damage chart. It's no longer a super heavy. It is going to explode. End of the Sons of Horus shooting phase, and since the Malcador is no longer a super heavy, it actually just exploded like a normal vehicle, inflicting 2 wounds on the Justaerin, but they made their 2+ saves. That was a relief to them, and it's a great result for the Sons of Horus. This has been a much, much better shooting phase for them. Sons of Horus assault phase, turn 4, and the Leviathan came lumbering into the back of the Dracosan. Didn't need to use its claw, it just smashed into the rear armour with its Hammer of Wrath, took the last hull point, and the Velatari Storm section have come piling out. Unfortunately for the Solar Auxilia, the Velatari Storm section have just taken their pinning check and failed it with a double 6. They are pinned, and that is another great result to round out a fantastic turn for the Sons of Horus. They have really turned this game around. It's still very close. Let's see how the Loyalists respond going into their 4th turn.
Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia movement phase, turn 4. We are going to need some magic this turn to try and claw back this game. The Sons of Horus are running away with it at the moment. So to that end, the Imperial Fist, 2 members of the Tactical Marines have moved forward along with the Velatari Storm section to hold that objective. They will score at the beginning of their next phase, hopefully. The Imperial Fist HQ, including the lone Breacher Marine, have lined up a rear shot on that Leviathan. We need to get rid of that. It's only taken 1 hull point, so we need to strip a few more from it. The Imperial Fist Land Raider has lined up again 2 las cannons onto the Leviathan. That should be enough to bring it down. The Dracosan has positioned to take out the Warmonger and his retinue. That unit will cause me some serious problems for the tanks in the next few phases. The Velatari Storm section were pinned, which is really unfortunate. They needed their Volkite shots to try and take out that Rhino as it's contesting that objective. But the problem is, if I go for the objective, it's covered by the twin Cary's pattern assault cannons on that Contemptor, which is mobilised, just overlooking that objective. So it's a really unfortunate position to be in right now. The command section for the Solar Auxiliary that were in this building, they've moved through cover, and they're going to charge the Rhino and put their crack grenades to use. We just need to take that Rhino out. It's attrition as well, so we need the points. And then finally, the Dracosan. I was going to turn it around and double up on the Warmonger's unit there, but I figured if I can get 2 lucky shots and drop a Demolisher Cannon again on top of the Praetor and the 2 Sons of Horus Carifacted Terminators, then that will stop them from scoring that objective beginning of the next turn. So we're desperately trying to pray to the mission here and take out the Sons of Horus. It's looking bleak, but the Imperial Fist and the Solar are confident that we're going to have a good round of shooting and pull it back. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxiliary turn for shooting, very unsuccessful, really, really unfortunate. The Melter Gun shot into the Leviathan from the Command Squad and the Lone Breacher, hit, but failed to penetrate. The Plasma Pistol went into the back of the Leviathan, hit, failed to penetrate. The Land Raider Phobos opened up, 2 shots, 2 hits, 2 penetrates, but James again made 2 amazing 4-up invulnerable saves. It's not going too well for the Sons of Horus, for the Imperial Fist and Solar Auxiliary. The Dracosan opened up onto the Warmonger and his 4 Justerian Terminators, got a direct hit, got 4 wounds, and managed to bring down 2 Justerian and the Warmonger, leaving a sole Justerian on his own. That was great news. I really needed that to try and pull this game back. Would have been nice to clip the last one, but really pleased. The Velatari Storm section shot in with their Volkite calibers, 20 shots, needing 6s to hit because they were pinned. Got 2 hits, but no penetrates on the Sons of Horus Rhino in front of them. The command section then threw a crack grenade into the Sons of Horus Rhino and failed to hit. All that's left to do now is perhaps charge the command section into that Rhino and take some hull points. Last act of shooting for the Imperial Fist and the Solar Auxiliary. The Dracosan fired a Demolish Cannon on top of the Cataphractic Terminator in front of it, but the shot scattered massively. But it did land on the top of the Leviathan Dreadnought, managed to cause a hull point and a weapon destroyed, which was one of the Volkite weapons in the front. On the whole, I think a very poor round of shooting. Now all we've got a couple of charges. We're going to try and charge the Imperial Fist's HQ unit into the Leviathan and take it finally. And the Velatari Command section are going to try and take out that Rhino in close combat. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxiliary turn for assault. The Imperial Fist HQ and the Lone Breacher managed to charge into the Leviathan Dreadnought, and the Solar Auxiliary Command section made it into the Rhino. Starting in combat with the Leviathan, it struck at Initiative 4, 3 attacks, but all 3 attacks missed. So a great opportunity for the Imperial Fist. I've got a Melter Bomb and a Thunder Hammer. The Breacher Marine went in with his Melter Bomb. They failed the first to hit roll, but because the Chaplain got to re-roll, it hit, penetrated. James failed the 4-up invulnerable save, but only managed a hull point and a stunned result, which is a bit of a shame. The Chaplain then, the Apothecary then struck in with his 4 attacks from his Thunder Hammer. All missed on the first round. Re-rolled for the Chaplain. Only got 1 hit. Just terrible, terrible rolling. And again caused a stunned result. That Leviathan is down to 1 hull point. It's a real shame couldn't finish it off. But at least it will go. It will not molest the Solar Auxiliary in the next turn. Combat between the Solar Auxiliary Command section and the Sons of Horus Rhino. 3 crack grenades went in, 3 hits, 1 penetrate, and caused a shaken result on that Rhino. It was a bit of a tough ask for the 3 crack grenades to all glance or pen, but we had a go. It worked reasonably well. My only concern is now they're exposed to the Sons of Horus behind them with bolters. but we'll have to see what happens. The Imperial Fist and the Soul Auxiliary have made a real effort this turn. Mixed results. It's really tricky. I don't know. I still think the Sons of Horus have managed it.
Sons of Horus movement phase turn 5 and the Cataphracti have consolidated their hold on this objective. They've moved so that they are out of sight behind this pillbox, and they've scored another point at the start of the turn. The Praetor has left them to take cover behind the wrecked Spartan. Meanwhile, the Leviathan is stomping towards the Dracosan. Unfortunately, due to its flare shield, his shooting can't hurt its front armour. The Sons of Horus tactical squad, they've scored another point as well at the start of the turn for holding that objective. They are preparing to Fury of the Legion at the Solar Auxiliary Command section. The Rhino has motored out of harm's way. Meanwhile, the last surviving Justyrin on the battlefield, he is moving to probably target the Solar Auxiliary Command section as well, or maybe try to bog down the Velataris. It's hard to say at the moment. The Leviathan, Pattern Siege Dreadnought, is of course locked in assault, but the Justyrin's Anvilus has done something quite useful. It has moved over and prevented the Loyalists from scoring this objective at the start of their turn, because it is a denial unit. Also, we're expecting these Loyalists to take some fire all the way down the street from the Rapier laser destroyers, which have finally advanced into range. And of course, the Contemptor is still immobilised. He's hoping he can draw a line of fire through at the Velataris. We shall see. Meanwhile, in this building, the two crew from the Quad Mortars, they're still there. They are just running into cover, trying to stay alive. Sons of Horus shooting phase, turn 5, and their tactical squad open fire with Fury of the Legion, managing to cut down the last two members of the Strategos' command section and also wound the Strategos himself. He's had a lucky escape as the last Justyrin managed to hit him with another 2 bolter rounds, but neither wounded. The last 2 remaining crew from the quad launchers have run out the side of this building. They are just trying to stay out of the way now. Meanwhile, the Contemptor Mortis managed to tear apart the 3 Solar Auxilia from the Velataris storm section that were in line of sight of his twin Kerry's assault cannons. The Sons of Horus Rapier laser destroyers continue having no effect on this game. They managed a single hit on the 2 remaining Imperial Fists all the way down the street, but they rolled a 1-2 wound. Final act of the Sons of Horus shooting phase was the Leviathan running forwards another 4 inches. Sons of Horus assault phase, turn 5, and the Justyrin is disappointed. He failed to charge the Strategos. He was about half an inch short. Disappointment once again for the Sons of Horus Leviathan Dreadnought, only managing a single hit with his claw, and he rolled a 1 to wound. Next, striking Initiative 1, we had the Breacher with his Melter Bomb, who missed, and the Primus Medici with his Thunderhammer, who missed. That's a lucky escape for the Leviathan, who is hanging on with a single hull point remaining. Quite a quiet turn for the Sons of Horus. They haven't managed to destroy any extra units, which is disappointing because they are determined to achieve attrition, but at least they are denying the Loyalists scoring the actual objectives on the table. We are going into Loyalists turn 5. This game is still very, very close.
Turn 5 for the Imperial Fist and the Solar Auxilia. Potentially the last turn of the game. So all we're doing now is we're trying to chase attrition points. The Dracosan has backed up to try and one-shot the Leviathan with its strength 10 weapon. I need to get some luck this turn to claw some points back. So, we'll see what happens. The Velataris Storm section have moved close to the Justyrin. They intend to shoot and charge. The only issue is that if I kill it in the shooting phase or the assault phase, I will be exposed to that Contemptor, which, fortunate for James, immobilised in the most perfect position. So they're probably going to get shot down. I might have to go to ground. If I survive with 1, then that will really help. The Land Raider Phobos has manoeuvred round, and his plan is just to take out that solitary Rhino, just to get me some points. The Dracosan has re-angled to try and fire on the Anvilus. The 2 tactical marines have gone to ground, so they can't do very much, but the Velatari, with the Volkite chargers, they are going to put some crack grenades on that Anvilus. We failed scoring that point this turn because the Anvilus was a denial unit and contested, so that was a shame. And then hopefully, if we can finally kill the Leviathan in this turn with a well-placed Melter Bomb or a whack with a Thunderhammer, we might be in a good place. So lots of luck needed. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxiliary, turn 5, shooting phase. The Dracosan opened up with the Demolish Cannon into the Leviathan, got a hit, got a pen, but James made his 4-up invulnerable. Amazing work. The Land Raider then opened up with the Las Cannons, only got 1 hit against the Rhino and 1 penetrate, but didn't explode it, so it's got 1 hull point left. I then went in with a daring shot from the Heavy Bolter, snap shooting, 3 hits, and failed to penetrate. So really, really unfortunate. Rolled 3 6s and then needed 1 6 again, but failed to get 1. Next, we're going to try our luck against shooting on the Justeran. The Solar Auxiliary Velatari Storm Section shired their Volkite charges into the Justeran. They had 14 shots, got 11 hits thanks to the +1 ballistic skill boosted by the Strategos in the building there. There was 6 wounds, and James made all of his 2-up armor saves. You know, we've now got to charge it, so fingers crossed there. The Dracosan fired a deadly close Demolisher Cannon shell at the Anvilus Dreadcore drop pod. It did scatter, but still clipped it and managed to put a hull point on it. The Imperial Fist that had gone to ground then snapshot, or rather threw a grenade at the Anvilus, failed to hit. The Solar Auxiliary in front of it also threw a crack grenade and also failed to hit. So not doing particularly well. Now we're going to go into the assault phase between the Justeran, the Solar Auxiliary, and the Imperial Fist Command Squad and the Leviathan. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxiliary, turn 5 assault phase. The Velatari Storm Section made it in contact with the Justeran. They're only an inch away, so that's good. They came in with 21 attacks. They got 17 hits, which was amazing, and caused 8 wounds on the Justeran. But James again made all of his 2-up armor saves. Amazing work. The Justeran replied with 2 attacks, 2 hits, 2 kills, and the Solar Auxiliary held firm. Thank God. Next combat is the Leviathan in combat with the Imperial Fist Command Squad and the Lone Breacher. A little bit better than the last time. The Leviathan struck with 3 attacks, got 1 hit, and the Chaplain decided to try and tank it on his refractor field and failed, giving up a point to attrition to the Sons of Horus. At Initiative 1, the Breacher Marine clamped a melter bomb to the Leviathan's leg. It hit, which is brilliant, but failed to penetrate despite rolling Armor Bane on it, so that was a shame. The Primus Medicae then went in with his Thunderhammer and missed all of his attacks. Such a shame. And so the Imperial Fist lost combat, but they passed their leadership test. Velatari then struck in with their crack grenades against the Anvilus pattern Dreadcore drop pod. Got 4 hits and failed to penetrate or glance. So that's the end of that. I think the Imperial Fists have done everything they can possibly do, and a really, really unsuccessful turn, which is a real shame. Terrible shooting, terrible close combat results. But let's decide if James wants to push it to turn 6.
Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 6. The Sons have decided to push this game to turn 6, thanks to the Imperial Fist Legion rule, the bitter end. They have decided that they can rack up a few more points, and they have started as down this end of the battlefield. These Terminators have scored that objective once again, and the Tactical Squad have scored that objective once again. They have since pulled back. Meanwhile, the Praetor has held position behind the wrecked Spartan, but the Leviathan has a plan. He has spotted the wounded Strategos attempting to take cover in this building. He is going to try to kill him for another attrition point. Meanwhile, the Sons of Horus Rhino has pulled back, just trying to put the crates between itself and the Imperial Fist's Land Raider. The last Justeran and the Leviathan are both locked in assault, and the Anvilus pattern has decided it doesn't want to face another free round of crack grenades, so it has hovered over the Velataris, still staying within 3 inches of the objective to deny it to the Loyalists. The Contemptor Mortis is, of course, still immobilised and has no targets, but the Laser Destroyers are going to try once again to inflict a single casualty this game. They can see the 2 remaining Imperial Fist Tactical Marines around objective number 1. Sons of Horus shooting phase, turn 6, and the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought absolutely hosed this building with fire from its storm cannon, completely shredding the Strategos who was hiding within. The only other fire this phase came in from the Sons of Horus Rapier teams. Despite being twin linked, they only managed one hit on the two Imperial Fist Tactical Marines. They managed to wound this time, but the Fist went to ground for a 6-up cover safe and made it. That means that the Rapiers have killed absolutely nothing this entire game. Sons of Horus Assault phase turn 6, and the Velataris Storm section once again failed to make any impression on the Justirin's Cataphracti Terminator armour. He swung his axe and another member of the Velataris fell, but they have held their nerve once again. The combat between the Leviathan and the Imperial Fists HQs and last remaining Breacher continues. The Leviathan is struggling. He has missed once again with all 3 of his attacks. And it seems that the Imperial Fists are struggling as much as the Leviathan Dreadnought as the Melter Bomber. The last remaining Breacher failed to hit with his Melter Bomb, and the Primus Medicae made no impression, bashing the front of the Dreadnought with his Thunderhammer. The combat continues.
6th and final turn for the Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia. Oh man, we need some magic. The Dracosan on the left-hand side has backed up and will fire his Demolisher Cannon into the levy. Hopefully, we'll get a little one-shot off, and that will help towards the attrition. The Solar Auxilia Velatari Storm section are in combat with the Justarian Terminator. Just can't take its final wound off, unfortunately. Well, it's 2 wounds, rather. So I think that's going to either end in a stalemate, or the Solar Auxilia are going to get minced. To try and double up on taking out that Rhino, the Dracosan and the Imperial Fist Land Raider have doubled up to take the final hull point off a Rhino. It seems such a sad waste, but a necessary evil at this time. And the Imperial Fist Tactical Squads and the Solar Auxilia Velatari Storm section are lining up an assault to plank their crack grenades onto that Anvilus, seeing as it denied a victory point for the Dominion mission. And then we have this boring combat, it has to be said, between the 3 Imperial Fist members and the Leviathan Dreadnought. Who will win that combat? We'll find out very soon. Turn 6 shooting for Solar Auxilia and Imperial Fist. The Dracosan fired its Demolisher Cannon into the Leviathan, got a hit, got a penetrate, and only managed to take off the other Volkite caliber from the front of that Leviathan. It really would have been nice to have rolled a 6 on the damage chart, but to no avail. The Imperial Fist Land Raider went in with its 2 las cannons, 2 hits, 2 penetrates, but James made both of his 4 cover saves, so that was pretty terrible. But then the Dracosan opened up with its Demolisher Cannon. The shot went downrange, penetrated, and destroyed the Rhino, garnering a victory point towards the attrition. I don't think it matters now, because I think James has won it with the attrition, at least, but at least we're giving it a go. Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia, turn 6 assault phase. The combat is obviously still ensuing between the Velatari Storm section and the Justarian. Combat between the Leviathan and Imperial Fists is still raging. I did say that the Imperial Fist Tactical Squad were going to charge in, but they went to ground on the previous turn, so they've had to just move back slightly. So they won't be charging the Anvilus, but the Velatari Storm section have charged the Anvilus and are going to clamp their crack grenades to it. Combat between the Solar Auxilia and the Justarian ended up with no wounds being put on the Justarian, but the Justarian chopping one of the Velatari in half. They then failed their leadership test and ran 3 inches towards their board edge. So they will count as destroyed it in the game for attrition, and the Justarian then consolidated 3 inches. Obviously couldn't sweep in advance because it's in Cataphracti Terminator armor. The Velatari Storm section in combat with the Anvilus Dreadcore Drop Pod. They clamped their crack grenades to it, but failed to penetrate, which was an absolute shame. Now we're going to go down onto the showdown between the Leviathan and the Imperial Fists. The Leviathan struck Initiative 4 with his 3 attacks, only managing 1 hit and 1 wound. I decided to take it on the Breacher because of the 5-up invulnerable, but I failed and killed the Breacher. So that's the Melter Bomb gone. But we do have now a Primus Medicae with 3 attacks with a Thunderhammer, which I thought was better odds than the Melter Bomb. Let's see what happens. The final act of the game, the Primus Medicae went in with 3 attacks, got 2 hits and 1 penetrating hit on the Leviathan. James made a save for his invulnerable save and rolled a 3. The penetrate went through and finally took the last hull point from the Leviathan. Great news for the Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia, but I don't think it's enough to take the attrition. We're now going to tot up the victory points. I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. James, that is it.
Yes, what a game.
Wow, what a game. I didn't think it was going to go to turn 6.
No, I thought, well, I've got a couple of units on objectives. Might as well keep racking up them points. But
unreal.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious who's won.
Yeah, I don't think it was obvious in the middle of the game. I was quite worried, and
I think there was one turn where it just flipped.
Yeah, I think
it was turn 4.
Yeah, Sons of Horus turn 4. Finally getting rid of the Malcador with a lucky shot. Well, I suppose getting rid of the Imperial Fist Terminators that charged in as well. The Warmonger and his boys did an amazing job, really. A brave deep strike at the start, and then they cut through a lot of very vital units for the Loyalists. So good job. I
don't know what else the Imperial Fist Terminators could have done, because they went in, I think it was 15 attacks, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think both squads should have probably wiped each other out. Yeah. But yeah, it was the luck of the dice, as they say.
Just don't know what it could have done. It was just crazy, that combat. But let's go on to the scores very quickly and work out what's happened. James, tell us what you've got.
I managed to get 6 points for holding the Dominion objectives over on the right flank. That was really, really good. And I managed to get attrition as well, destroying 13 Loyalist units to 8 Sons of Horus units destroyed.
Absolutely. So you've got 6 points plus a D3. I've scored 1 victory point for taking out the Warlord. Oh no, sorry, for the Herald.
1 because he's a Herald, yeah.
That's right, and I get D3 because of Warlord. So James has definitely won, but we're going to do a live dice roll to see what the final score is. So you've got a D6 on
somewhere upon me. Yep.
What do you got? Give it a whirl.
It is a 1.
Okay, so 7 total, and I come up with that's 2, so 3 total. So final scores: 3 to the Imperial Fist and Solar Auxilia, and 7 to the Sons of Horus.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting game. Tactically, I know we were talking about it during the game, trying to work out how to score the Dominion objectives and stop the enemy doing it and destroy the units as well was tough on the old brain occasionally then. But I think my strong attack on the right flank really paid dividends. That's where I racked up all the Dominion objective points. Yeah,
I think it was really tough for the Imperial Fist Solar Auxilia. I've brought back the Velatari Storm section with Paraxes because they stayed in their transport the entire game. I wasted them just moving that Dracostone forwards and backwards to try and peel out the Praetor and the 10-man squad. And they did a great job. They reduced it down to 8 with a Demolisher cannon, but you moved very sneakily, so I couldn't target it.
Yeah.
I should have got these guys out a lot earlier to move on to that central objective between the building and the big silo. But immobilising that dreadnought, perfectly trained with these carries, it just would have rinsed the Solar Auxilia. That's why I didn't commit. But perhaps if I had committed, a couple left alive, they may have gone into the Juster and helped out the Solar Auxilia at the very end.
Yeah.
But I was just too afraid of getting them out. They're a bit squishy against carries.
Yeah, it's very hard for the Solars, especially the guys with power axes with no assault vehicles to speak of. Yeah, they have to make themselves vulnerable in order to have any impact on the game. It's a hard one because they're not very tough.
No.
Yeah.
And it was a shame, the Strategos, he lasted a lot longer than I thought he was going to last. But got gunned down by that Leviathan, didn't he?
Yeah, but his squad were great, really. The chap with the haywire grenade launcher, I mean, he killed a Spartan, he killed a Rhino, he just popped out of that building and just, those haywire grenades that the Solars have access to are deadly. They unlike other armies, they can easily deal with things like Spartans.
Yeah. There's a couple of key points in the game which was really interesting. James's saves at time were absolutely spectacular. Then other times they were terrible. So you're rolling lots of double ones for your 2-up armour.
Yeah, my 4-ups were a lot better than my 2-ups, I think, in terms of the success rate. So
exactly right. You did some amazing 4-ups. And that Leviathan just held the whole game, didn't it?
Yeah, I was really worried from turn 2 and 3 because my left flank that I attacked with my Justyrian and my Reavers came on that side, my Warlord, and yet they just bounced off the fists, didn't really do anything, and he was holding the entire flank on his own, really, did really well.
Yeah, he was definitely a frightening prospect. It would have been nice to have got a couple of one-hit wonders with either Last Cannons or the Demolishers, but it just didn't happen. You got a beautiful one shot with the just staring into the side of the Infernus, didn't you?
Yeah, I've never had any luck using their multi-melters. That is definitely a highlight for me. Yeah, that's it. Just bored straight through the side and blew it to pieces. Yeah.
It was brilliant. And that Warmonger character was quite cool, that ability to deep strike with one unit. Brilliant.
Yeah, it could have gone badly wrong, but I think the luck was on his and his unit side this game. The deep strike went well, and then he did manage to defeat a Dreadnought and the Imperial Fist Terminators and the Malkador. Really good. Shame he took a Demolisher Cannon after that.
He did a huge amount of work. And you have brought back the Leviathan. I mean, that's a good choice for bringing back. I think they really held up both sides of your flanks really well.
Yeah, they're just so solid. They're such a good choice. Yeah. I don't really have much more to say than that, to be honest. Yeah, if you pick them, I tend not to take them with Armour Terramite and Phosphex because I think they become a bit too unfriendly then, to be honest.
Too powerful, I think, yeah. And I only managed to clip off the Volkite charges or the Calibers on the front, didn't I?
Yeah, you had really bad luck. You got plenty of pens on them, but yeah, it was just weapon destroyed all the time and they just kept marching on.
God damn it. Anyway, it was a fantastic game. I really hope you enjoyed it. One thing you guys don't see is this game took 2 days to film. We were at it all day yesterday, weren't we? I think we were here for 9 hours, I think, yesterday. And today we're here for probably another 4 or 5 hours just to finish off sort of turn 3 onwards. So there's a lot of effort that goes into producing these games. A lot of guys just think we turn up and roll some dice, but there's a lot of work that goes on to getting the armies prepped, building the board, and then the actual physical part of playing the game that do take a little while. You have to explain everything after each turn. And we're not doing dice rolls now, which you probably have noticed. It does speed the game up. And I think if we'd done dice rolls, we probably wouldn't here for 2 whole days.
Oh, yeah, and then the video would have been really long as well, I'm sure. I'm not sure how long this one's going to work out at, but I think it's that's a big game, so it'll be a long one. With dice rolls, it would be...
Yeah. Too much.
Yeah.
So we've started to cut those dice rolls out now just to get a bit more of a streamlined game, because I think ultimately if we can describe it in a really accurate and dramatic way, I think you just need to know what's going on. We try to get all the dice rolls in and give you the hits, 2 wounds and the numbers there. So hopefully that's enough. But let us know if you want to see more dice. I don't think you need to. I think the guys that are watching Heresy on the 30k channel know the Heresy and they know what they're doing. I am in the process of producing some how to play Heresy and some get to know Heresy games with a friend of mine, Alistair, and that will go out on YouTube. So the guys that aren't familiar with Heresy, go to YouTube, they'll find that and they'll learn how to play Heresy, and then they'll migrate over to the 30k channel and watch the good stuff, hopefully.
Yeah, that's it. Epic games. Absolutely. Like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, the channel's commitment is James and I are committed to producing 1 game a month. 1 game a week. Yes. Extra. And we're going to try and rapidly increase the games of Heresy on the channel. In an ideal world, we want to do 4 a month, don't we? Yeah, and then added to the guest games, the AT, we should be up around 10, is it? Yeah, 9 or 10. Yeah, the 10th video of the month will hopefully be like this army showcase. We'll invite someone in with a 3k list. They'll build a display board, and we'll talk about their army for an hour and a half, and really drill deep into why you collect this particular army, or why you like the look of it, or how you paint it. So we'll have lots of questions. So that'll be quite a nice discussion piece. Not quite a podcast, and we're not quite going there just yet, but definitely some information as to why people collect certain armies that they do. We would love you to go to the Facebook page when this game is released. The photos will be out. I've taken a ton of photos. Yeah, and I bet they look awesome. They do look good. Yeah. I do try. I'm not a photographer, but we've got some equipment, so we try to do a good job. Please like, share, and please subscribe to the website. I guess if you're watching this, you already subscribed, but please tell your friends and support the channel. We'd really, really appreciate it. We cannot do this without your support, so please go in there and do that. James, I had a really awesome day and a half. Yeah, me too, mate. What a great game. Fantastic game. Got to play with 2 legions that I really like the look of. The Imperial Fist were fantastic with their bolter drill. Yeah, really good. The Solar Auxiliary were really flavoursome with their tanks and their massed infantry. So I think next we've got a big Zone Mortalis game planned. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'm not quite sure the forces yet, so we'll have a rifle through the collection. Yep. And work it out, and we'll bring a Zone Mortalis game to you next. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next game.